وزيرة خارجية لاتفيا السيدة بايبا بيريز، شكرا لاستضافتنا هنا في العاصمة اللاتفية ريغا. دعيني أبدأ من ما يحصل في أوكرانيا اليوم من تداعيات الحرب الأوكرانية عليكم بشكل عام. ما هي المخاوف التي لديكم في حال توسعت الحرب الروسية في أوكرانيا إلى دول مختلفة؟
Latvia, the Baltic states, Poland, Finland, Norway, now also Sweden, we are all NATO members. We are all peaceful countries. NATO is a peace project. You know, NATO was created to defend, not to attack. So that's how we plan our collective defense planning. That's how our defense plans are. It's about in case someone attacks us. If Russia wants to start the war with NATO, that's going to be a different situation. NATO is not planning to start any wars, all right? So that's how NATO works. It's a self-defense organization. But if Russia starts the war against NATO, any NATO member, it will be a self-defense and it will be a different situation. You're totally right.
الرئيس الأوكراني كان روج لخطة قد تؤدي باعتقاده إلى النصر في أوكرانيا بغضون عام. طبعا أعضاء حلف الناتو أكدوا دعم هذا المسار ودعم أوكرانيا، ولكن هناك خلاف، هناك بعض التردد من الأعضاء الآخرين. كيف ترون ذلك، خصوصا وأنك كنت تشغلين منصبا مهما في الحلف الأطلسي؟
Ukraine has defined its peace formula. It's President Zelensky's peace formula. It's pretty straightforward. It's about Ukraine's borders. It's about territorial integrity. It's about other issues, you know, return of POWs, prisoners of war, children, and so on and so forth. So we fully support President Zelensky's peace formula. Also food security, international food security. Nuclear security. So there's a whole set of points which are very clear and very natural. I mean, there is nothing that would be somewhere taken from some type of other space. It's very straightforward and basic points, and we fully support that. When that peace can come, that will be for Ukrainians to decide in terms of they have to have a strong position on the battlefield, because we don't see currently that Russia wants to end the war. All the vectors of what we are seeing in Russia, the military, the private sector, the economy, is aligned towards the war. So policy is war by Russia. So Ukraine needs to self-defend. Ukraine needs to be strong enough to push Russia to the table to negotiate. But currently there is no indications that Russia wants to do that.
سيدة بايبا، يعني في سبتمبر اقتحمت أو اخترقت طائرة روسية المجال الجوي في لاتفيا وكذلك في رومانيا. طبعا رومانيا قالت إن ذلك كان هجوما روسيا. بالنسبة لكم ما هي هذه المعلومات، وهل أنتم قادرون على صد أي هجوم مماثل قد يحصل في المستقبل من قبل هذه الطائرة الروسية أم ماذا؟ أم أنكم بحاجة إلى موافقة من قبل الناتو لاتخاذ أي إجراء؟
So Ukraine is 2,000 kilometers away from Latvia. So that drone was shot from Russia to Ukraine. So it was not aimed at Latvia. So it went to the Ukrainian border. It was disabled by Ukrainian electronic warfare. And it flew through Belarus several hundred kilometers, more than 600 kilometers, and fell into Latvia. There are several elements, so it's a very serious situation for us. In the same time, quite carefully, we analyzed the situation, and it was not an attack against us. So in that respect, we don't see that there was an intention of a hostile attack. So we take it as an incident. As an incident, what you need to do is, of course, you need to identify that such cases happen and try to prevent them. For which you have to have in place the identification means, and also you have to decide when you shoot down it, because shooting it down over very densely populated spaces can be very dangerous. So the question is for the military, and it will be each and every case what the military will do. We have had some other cases, and over the Baltic Sea there is international waters, so we have NATO fighters in Latvia. They take off to identify what are the incidents there. Mostly unidentified Russian planes that don't switch on the transponders, so quite clearly then it's identified and accompanied out of our airspace through the international airspace. And then on the other side, on the east, where we border Russia and Belarus, and then south it's Lithuania, north is Estonia, very clearly, we have to have the facilities in place to both identify and shoot down what is necessary.
هل تعتقدين أن على أوكرانيا على سبيل المثال أن تتخلى عن جزء من أراضيها كما حصل في العام أو بعد العام 2014 عندما استولت أو تمكنت روسيا من أخذ جزيرة القرم، أم أن الحل لن يكون بهذه الطريقة وهذه السهولة، وخاصة أن هناك معارك تجري اليوم في شرق أوكرانيا؟
I don't think that is what President Zelensky wants or what Ukrainian people want. So it will be up to them to decide the conditions. But to have good conditions, they need a strong position on the battlefield.
بالحديث عن الموضوع النووي، قررت أو أعلنت روسيا مؤخرا أنها غيرت من عقيدتها النووية أو غيرت عقيدتها النووية. كيف تنظرون إلى ذلك الأمر؟
The reality is that all those situations have come and gone and nothing has happened. There are 5 official nuclear states, members of the UN Permanent Security Council, permanent members of the UN Security Council, and there is actually a resolution, the joint declaration that they have adopted, and that was last year, and which clearly spells out that nuclear war shall not be fought because it cannot be won. All right? So very clearly, the Russians as well as all the others understand that if you start a nuclear escalation, there will be consequences.
سيدة بايبا، على المقلب الآخر من العالم هناك حرب تدور بين إسرائيل وكل من حماس وحزب الله في لبنان. ما هي نظرتكم، رؤيتكم لهذه الحرب التي تدور في الشرق الأوسط؟
I think we have been pretty straightforward in terms of our policy, both nationally but also within the EU and like-minded group of states, that Israel does have the right to self-defend. What happened in the 7th of October, totally unacceptable. Hamas attack totally destroyed the regional balance. We know that there was negotiations ongoing about normalizing relations with Arab countries, so that was something that was welcome by every single member of the EU and other countries. So that was all undermined. Israel took counteraction. Then on the 8th of October, Hezbollah started shooting rockets at Israel. So there was another step, another escalation. So Israel self-defended again. But in the same time, Israel has to respect international humanitarian law. So they cannot kill children in Gaza. They should not be taking so many collateral victims in Gaza. So we have told our Israeli colleagues that, and we have stated that publicly, that international humanitarian law and respect for it, also when implementing self-defense, is still in force. And then on Lebanon, we are part of the UNIFIL. We have our soldiers in UNIFIL. Attacks on UNIFIL are not acceptable. What Hezbollah does is also not acceptable. So it's not just about Israel's certain attacks that we disagree with, but it's also very clearly that Hezbollah's military wing has been keeping rockets, shooting missiles, thousands of missiles at Israel. How can Israel not self-defend? Obviously. Every country would defend herself. But then you also have the role of Iran.
نعم، كنت سآتي على ذكر ذلك.
So, and Iran is of course not playing any type of constructive role, either with regard to Hamas or Hezbollah or in Iraq, for that matter, through the militias and the groups there, or in the Red Sea with Houthis. So that's why, also with regard to Iran's involvement and support to Russia, the EU has just sanctioned Iran in several ways. So that is a very clear decision, again, showing that the behavior of Iran, its role, and it's a pity because it could be a very constructive player in the region. It could be a positive power.
سيدة بايبا، إذا ما أردنا أن نتحدث عن العلاقات بين لاتفيا ودولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة، كيف تقيمين اليوم هذه العلاقات بين الدولتين؟
It's a very good relationship. It's UAE has the embassy as only in the Baltic states, and the ambassador was here for 7 years. Now we have a new ambassador, so it's great. And our embassy is there, also covering the region from Abu Dhabi. So we are very pleased with that sort of political relationship. We have had wide exchanges of visits. We are waiting for the UAE president to visit, and I'll be going there at some moment. So I just had a bilateral meeting with the foreign minister in New York. So we have excellent relationship, economic relations, political relations, and also human people-to-people relations. Probably more economic relations would be also possible because there is a natural relationship. As I said, there are direct flights. Riga is a big regional aviation center here. You know, we are developing a lot of cargo facilities at the airport. So Fly Dubai or others with the cargos and flights, using Riga port for regional distribution down to the west. So there are various opportunities of collaboration.
سيدة بايبا برادزي، وزيرة خارجية لاتفيا، شكرا جزيلا لك على هذه المقابلة.
Very good. Thank you for your interest.